This is Karen Ranzi of Super Healthy Children, and I am here with Julia, Danny, Ella, and Nuno Rosa. And I am going to be talking with Julia and also with Danny, if you want to chime in on this also, about the end of Julia's recent raw vegan pregnancy and her wonderful ecstatic childbirth to her new little baby boy. And so Julia, when I saw you last, when we did our last video during your pregnancy, it was pretty close to the time.
Yeah, I think I was like 34, 35 weeks pregnant, so it was close to the end there.
Yeah. And I remember that your pregnancy was just going beautifully, and you were comparing the two pregnancies that you've had so far, and that this one was much easier, being a raw vegan, and that you and Danny had lost a lot of weight, especially Danny, who lost, about 100 pounds?
100 pounds, yeah.
So I would like to talk now a little bit about the childbirth and the last part of your pregnancy leading into the childbirth, how you felt, and a little bit more about your actual childbirth and who was there with you and how you prepared for it and what kind of childbirth you wanted to have.
Okay. Well, the end of the pregnancy was really good. Especially again compared to the end of my last pregnancy with my daughter, just because I was so much lighter. I just, I was still comfortable and could walk around and do all the things that I wanted to do comfortably. And the last month or so I was preparing for I wanted to have a home birth, and that's what I saw a midwife throughout my pregnancy, and so I was gathering all the supplies that I needed and getting our house ready for the home birth. And, which really doesn't require, they make it easy now. I just ordered like a box of stuff from my midwife online. And so then actually the night before my due date, I had a prenatal massage. And, I had heard that could make you go into labor, especially if you have some, what do they call them? Like spots on your feet where that trigger uterine contractions. And so I didn't know what happened, but it was the day before my due date, so I, was hopeful actually that maybe it would.
Maybe it would.
Yeah. And the next morning at 3 a.m, I woke up with some cramping. But I had had some cramping the few nights before that, so I didn't know if it would lead up to anything. But it did. That whole day, I did start having some mild regular contractions. But I was able to do everything around the house. We actually even left the house for a little while, and I was pretty. I didn't do a lot, but I was getting the house ready for the home birth, putting, the sheets down and just getting everything how I wanted it. So, and then around 10 o'clock that night, my contractions started to really become more frequent and more intense and closer together. So then around 12:30, I called the midwife and she came over, and, then it was, obvious I was in full labor, and but everything was going great, and I was just really happy to be at my house and not have to leave and go anywhere.
Well, it's so nice you could be in your comfortable environment and not have the stress of being in a place that you're not familiar with people running around who you don't know.
Yeah, it was just so comfortable, and we had the lights. I didn't even think about it, but now looking back, I didn't turn any of the lights on. There was a light on in the kitchen, and that's all. It was just nice and cozy, and my husband was with me, and he was with me the whole time, and you know, that was very comforting. And he was making me. I really didn't have a huge appetite, but I did want like liquids, like coconut water and I call it Datorade. It's just dates and water blended together, and orange juice. And that's what you know, sustained me, I guess, through labor. But it was perfect for me. That's all
You kept yourself hydrated.
Yes, yeah. And that's all I really wanted. And the midwife came over around 1:30, and he was actually facing, you know, his back was against my back, which is opposite of how it's supposed to be. So the midwife did help me labor in a few different positions to help get him through, because he was having a little bit of trouble getting through my pelvic bones. But she was so great, and after he was born, about an hour after I finished with the 2 positions that she had me labor in. So they, you know, I think they helped.
Sounds like it was helpful.
Yeah, my water broke right after, and then
Wonderful.
he was born.
Midwives were meant to help with deliveries.
Yeah, it was
That's
perfect.
all that they do. That's what they know.
Yeah,
to do.
She was so great. Yeah, and she was very calm. You know, I started, in my mind, I was like, well, if he's in the wrong position, is this going to work? But, you know, because you're in labor and you start to think things like that.
But they can help with that.
She was very calm, and she was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And she was right, and he was born. And yeah, it was great. And he, you know, I was kneeling next to the bed, and I could, you know, I felt him coming, and then, yeah, he was born at 9:20 in the morning, and our daughter was there, and she watched him being born.
She actually slept for most of the labor, and then a few minutes before he was born, she woke up and witnessed the whole thing.
Wow, that's
was
fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
It was really nice. And then...
so how long was it when you were pushing, and did you find it easy or very difficult?
Well, I actually didn't push that much with him because of his position. It was actually really painful for me to push, so I naturally just did not want to push. And I really only pushed at the end when I could tell he was like through my pelvic bone. I could feel him in my vagina, you know, in the birth canal. So, and then once I felt him there, I was like, okay, he's going to come out. So I just pushed him out. So I didn't push that much, barely at all with him. Whereas with my daughter, I pushed for 2 hours, which was not really fun.
And how long, now your first pregnancy, you were, you had the standard American diet, pretty much.
Yeah.
And you said in your last video, the pregnancy video that we did, that your whole childbirth was much different.
Yeah, well, with my daughter, I gained 50 pounds, which,
wow,
you know, that's a lot of weight to be carrying around.
How much did you gain on this pregnancy?
Well, technically, I gained 1 pound because, because I had recently become raw vegan when I was became pregnant. I was still losing weight from, like before that. So even though I was getting bigger because I was pregnant, I was actually becoming more healthy. So I didn't really gain.
Right. And look at this beautiful, healthy child.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was 7 pounds, 5 ounces, 21
Wonderful.
inches. Yeah, he was perfectly healthy, and
yeah, we were raw when you were raw the whole time.
Yeah.
But we were still eating cheese.
Oh yeah, when I was
and honey.
When I was in the first trimester.
Yeah.
We didn't really know what we were doing.
Yeah, and then that was the last. Then we went vegan.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so when we went vegan, we continued to lose weight, but because I was pregnant, I was also gaining, weight from the baby getting bigger.